Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our next session for our GMA process. My name is Past Council Chair Winsor Ceballos, and with Richard Stevenson and Eric Strimple, we are your hosts today. So this session is for three areas, which is great. We are so happy to have with us tonight Past International Director Jerome Thompson, who is going to introduce to us our third installment of our GMA process. PID Jerome, the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much, Winston. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, which means that I don't get to see everyone's lovely face. But if you have a question, just unmute yourself and talk to me, because I want us to work together. We've had the session on building a team, how that we were going to bring our core people that we knew were going to support us through thick and thin together, but then we were going to invite everyone in the district to be visionaries and attend our Build a Vision session. And so we've got that out of the way, and now we're ready to take this third step, and that is to begin to build a plan so we can find greater success. And so as we talk through this tonight, we're going to focus on our district review, our action plans, our resources, and then our next steps. I would encourage you, when you finish your Build a Vision meeting, to have everyone that is there, all the visionaries, to identify where that they find their passion and their purpose. Are they excited about new clubs? Are they excited about new members? Are they excited about new service that will retain our members? Are they excited about leadership development? Divide them up into the four groups. And then as we talk about building a plan tonight, it's those four individual groups that are going to build four mini plans that you and your team is going to pull together to make a master plan for your district. And so we're going to begin to talk through this. The thing about building a plan, actually a thing about even building a vision, is that it's your district, your way. And as long as we get the results that we're looking, nobody's going to question how you build your plan. You can have a group of 4 or 5 that builds a plan. You can have 4 mini plans that all come together to make a major plan. And then you, as the district governor, can take charge and talk with all 4 groups at the same time. You can talk with group 1, group 2, 3, and 4 at separate times, however that you want to do this. But I'm going to introduce you to the tools that are necessary for you to begin to do this. What you're fixing to do is a lot like Google. We know where we are, we know where we want to go, and it's going to give us a step-by-step process to get from our house to work. In your case, from where your district is to where you want your district to be. You're going to be the Google map that maps it out step by step, and you're going to begin to put dates by it. You're going to build this master plan, because when you rip the ribbon off in Boston, then you are going to begin to just follow your plan. Whatever it says to do, you're going to do. You're going to look up from time to time and adjust, just like Google Maps does when there's a wreck or a traffic jam up ahead of us. It reroutes us, and we're going to make some adjustments as we go. As we continue, then, we are to the third step, to build a plan. And when we get together the next time, we're going to talk about building success and how that together we can make a difference in our association. It's so important that we realize that we're on a journey of service. It's not about membership. It's not really about leadership. It's about those who cry silently at night in your communities, who have no hope for a better tomorrow. And it's about the 1.4 million people around the world that bring hope to the hopeless, that bring service to our communities, that create a better life for those that we come in contact with. And that's what your job, your responsibility as a district governor is to motivate your clubs and your zones to do more than they can do, to build a vision that is bigger than all of us. So together we understand that we're expanding our footprint of service. We're engaging more volunteers so we can serve more. We're developing more leaders so we can serve more. We serve as our motto, and that is the entire purpose of our association. We're not necessarily a fundraising organization. We're not necessarily a membership organization. We're not a John Maxwell leadership development organization, but all of these things come together for one purpose. And our vision is bringing smiles to the faces of those in our community who are in need. And if we do that, if we meet our community needs, then everything else is going to flow from there. And I'm going to tell you, let's meet our community needs first. And as you have additional resources, whether that's time, talent, or treasure, use it for our global causes that are promoted by Lions Clubs International. But our communities support us, and our first obligation is to serve in our communities. As we continue to talk about our service journey, then we have to remember that when we built that vision, we looked and talked about leveraging our strengths. What do we do well, and how can we do it better? Managing our weaknesses, where can we improve, and how can we minimize the impact of our weaknesses? How can we take advantage of the opportunities that are in our district, and how can we minimize the impact of threats that are beyond our control? And when we do that, then in fact, we are going to be a better association. And across the United States, across Constitutional Area 1, we're going to find greater success. And success is measured by the number of smiles that we put on faces of those who are in need. As you had your Build a Vision meeting, you talked about your strengths. And as you begin to have this meeting to talk about building a plan with your team members, go ahead and edit this slide and put the strengths that y'all identified, the top 4, 5, 6 strengths, the things that we do well and we can really build on. Add this to that, your personalized information, this slide. You'll do the same for your weaknesses, the things that we really need to improve upon. And we're just going to remind our team as they're building a plan that we're going to address some of these weaknesses. We're going to figure out how to improve upon the things that we are doing less than perfect. We're going to really capitalize on things that we're doing well. We're going to seize our opportunities, and we're going to list those on this slide as well. And then we're going to talk about our threats. And then at your Build a Vision meeting, you talked about those threats. And so all of this slide deck to this point is going to be personalized to you. Now, once again, as we move forward, you can have 4 meetings, the group that does new clubs, the group that does new members, new service, or new leaders or leadership development. You can have 1 meeting with all 4 of them and go over everything at the same time. Ultimately, we're going to have 4 plans that come together and collide to find greater success. You also, during your Build a Vision meeting, you identified your goals. Before you have your meeting, fill in this slide as well. Your goals for new clubs, for new members, and for membership retention. And when you do that, then you will have, and get to this slide, everyone will have reviewed the success that come from the Build a Vision meeting. From there, then you have developed the 4 teams that are going to take and begin to work together to build those 4 mini plans. And each group is going to have that working group lead, that person who is going to take charge. For new clubs, that person that's going to take charge is most likely going to be your global extension team leader for your year. The person that takes charge of Focus Area 2, new members, is most likely going to be your global membership team lead for your district governor year. The one who takes and begins to talk about membership satisfaction is probably going to be your global service team leader, because Lions join for one reason, and that is to serve, to make an impact in their community. And if we keep them engaged, we keep them focused on our mission of service, then they're going to continue to re-enlist every 6 months, every year as they pay their dues. They're going to get excited, and your global service team leader can use service to increase membership satisfaction and membership retention. And then finally, we're going to be over here in Focus Area 4, leader support. And that's going to be led by your global leadership team leader for your district. And so all 4 of your global action team members for your district have come together, and now they have a purpose. But they are in fact a team leader, because as you took and got the passion and purpose of your visionaries during the Build a Vision meeting, you've assigned them a team. And it's going to be so powerful, because an extension person versus an extension team is so powerful. A membership person versus a membership team is going to really elevate what we're able to do. Our service person versus a service team is really going to assist us in helping clubs to not only have hands-on service that keeps everybody engaged, but they're going to be able to report that service, and they're going to be able to lead us in a positive direction of celebration and celebrating the lives that we are changing day by day. And finally, as we talk about the global leadership team, you're going to have a team of people there that are identifying future leaders, a team of people there that are providing the support and the training that our club officers need, that our zone chairs need, that our future district governor elects need, our vice district governors. All of them are going to be working together. When we work alone, we can do so little. But when we work together, we can do so much. And so that's why it's important that we stop right here. We fill in the names, we build a team for each of these areas, because you as a district governor-elect will be relying on these 4 teams to accomplish the goals that have been set, so that you can be out there and be the chief executive officer of the district. You can be the chief motivator of the district. You can be rolling up your sleeves and serving with clubs. You can be attending zone meetings and visiting all your clubs. People are looking for a district governor-elect that will build a relationship with their clubs. And this structure helps you to build that relationship. It helps you to take this global membership approach and casually begin to ask the proper questions when you make your club visits, so that they too, on a club level, can begin to understand what they do well, what they need to improve upon, and set just a couple of goals, so that we have every club in our district all focused on how to be the best club. And when you get 4 or 5 best clubs together, they become the best zone. And when you get 6 or 8 best zones together, you become the best district in your multiple district. And you have a great, outstanding year, not because you've done anything special, but because you have motivated all of those around you to do something exciting and special. Having a bias toward action, let's see something happen now. You can break that big plan into small steps and take the first step right away. As you begin to build your plan, hopefully within the next month or so, and you begin to share it with your current seated district governor, you go ahead and begin now to finish this year stronger than you've ever finished, so that you'll have the momentum to drive into your year with greater success, with greater energy, with greater enthusiasm, and with the Lions all working together. So it's so important we develop a plan, we begin to communicate that plan, and we put ourselves in a position to start working within the next 60 to 90 days to help others. Because when we add value to our current district governor's year, he or she in turn will add value to our year. And we're all beginning to build this momentum that we need to carry us forward. And so as you're talking with all of your groups, individually or as a group, it's so important we talk about strategic planning, and that we let everybody know that everyone on the team needs to contribute. We do not, as a global extension team, membership team, service team, or leadership team, need for 1 or 2 to dominate the conversation, because everyone has excellent ideas. We need to initially focus on the quality of ideas. When everybody's thrown their idea against the wall, it's important that the group as a whole begin to evaluate those ideas and pick the top 1, 2, 3 that they really want to carry out during your year as a district governor-elect. We need to be positive. There's no room for negative comments as we have built our team, as we built our vision, and now as we're building our plan. There is nowhere for us to say that we cannot do that, because Lions do whatever they set their minds to do. It's important that we encourage wild ideas and challenge yourself. And many of you have heard me talk about the District Enhanced Leadership Institute that someone tossed out at our Build a Vision meeting in 2019. And when we put together our very own District Leadership Institute, and we pulled lesson plans from several different programs and from the Lions Learning Center, we found 20 people that we were able to invest in. And of that 20, right now, 5 of them are lined up to be our district governor. It's a matter of taking a wild idea, formulating it, and working together so that we can, in fact, challenge ourselves to be better than we've ever been before, to be creative and think way outside the box, as our international president, Brian, would say, and then to combine and improve ideas. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to sit in a training. And as we sat in that training, there was a group of instructors that come in that taught us the yes and method. Yes, that's a great idea. And we might also consider. And if we'll do that as we're building these plans and combine those ideas and get people to talking and sharing, we're going to polish off ideas, and we're going to take some good ideas and make them great ideas. And so you've covered all of this with your team, and you're ready to begin to talk with them about, we've broke up into the 4 areas, and each group is going to take and select their best 2 or 3 ideas. They're going to build some plans of action, and we're going to come back together and massage and melt these together into one district plan. Each team is going to have one of these action plan templates. They're going to check off the focus area. They're going to write their goal, and we're going to go over some in just a few minutes. And then those steps. We're going to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And if you have more than 5 steps, you get another one of these and do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whatever many steps it takes, have them documented and make them small steps that can be accomplished in a short period of time. Because as long as we're making progress as we step through our plan of action, folks are going to stay engaged. It's when we get lofty and we don't break it down and make it manageable that folks get discouraged. What objective is your goal statement? Indicate what specifically the district intends to accomplish. And then we have our action steps and who's going to be responsible and any resources that you need, the date that we're going to begin, how we're going to assess it, and how that we're going to alter our plans if we're a little off track, reroute and get to our goal. This is some sample action plans that are in the PowerPoint that you can find at lionsclubs.org/global. And personally, if you're going to take and just meet with focus area 1, 2, 3, or 4 separate, then delete all of the lesson plans or sample action plans, except the one that you're using for the group. If you're going to meet with all of them, then leave them all in there. But this is for membership development. The goal by the end of December, our district will charter 1 new specialty club, and then the action steps. And your action steps may be different than their action steps. There's 10 steps to forming a club. They can be found at lionsclubs.org. And you might take each of those 10 steps and give it a date, make it a responsibility of someone, and identify the resources that you need. Then also we have new members. And by the end of August of 2020, our district will equip all leaders with the tools they need to effectively recruit members. And so you take and decide what's best for your district and let that group that decide what is the best way to move forward. Do you want to teach clubs how to use the membership growth event toolbox? Do you want clubs to focus on doing a safari hunt and going and re-inviting lions to come back that maybe left during our COVID pandemic? Do we want to talk about a legacy program and go out to the family of lions who have passed away and ask them to continue their family's legacy of service by joining our club? Do we want to use the Just Ask program? Whatever your district decides, then let's put it here. Let's find a way to make a contest or an incentive and focus on membership growth in this focus area 2. Focus area 3 is about membership satisfaction. By the end of June, Our district will train clubs on how to build a customized membership satisfaction plan. You might use some of the other resources we have. You might set a goal about service reporting. You might set a goal about using social media to highlight what clubs are doing. Whatever your goal is, and then break it down into small steps. Who's going to train? What is going to be trained on? How are we going to measure our success? And we're going to review our membership satisfaction guide. We're going to review with our working group how to use that. We're going to empower our zone chairs to take a message to the clubs. Whatever you need to do, you work it out there with your different areas in service. And then our leader support. And we're going to have, our district will hold quarterly webinars to support club success, such as improving membership engagement, social media use, etc. And go ahead and lay those 4 out, pick the dates that you're going to do those webinars, make sure that you have the Zoom or whatever program that you need in order to accomplish that, have it laid out. The most important thing that you or your global membership approach champion can do is take, and when you mesh these 4, make sure that they don't overlap, because you're asking your clubs to focus on membership, to focus on service, to focus on leadership development. And if everyone asks the club the same month to do something, the clubs are going to throw up their hands and say, y'all are asking too much of us, leave us alone, and they're not going to be back. But if you can communicate through your zone chairs on a monthly basis, a different concept, and share with them a different resource, then in fact, you're going to keep your clubs engaged, and they're going to find greater success because you have organized your approach and just spoon fed them. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? How do you help clubs to be successful? By giving them just one bite at a time. We're not going to choke them with everything in July, but we're going to give them a little bit to chew on every month through engaging our zone chairs and empowering them to be the best that they can be. When it's all said and done, all 4 of those groups are going to have action plans, and they will have rated their action plans. We think this one's the most important, second important, the third important. Take the top 2 from each of those 4 groups and work them in your plan. And then, for example, if we start 2 clubs and it's February and we got time for another one, then pick up plan 3 and stick in there and form that 3rd club. To be quite honest, if every district across the United States were to just form 1 club, I would be excited. But if they form 2, that'll make up for some that don't. Your new member goal, what's the action step or plan of action 1, plan of action 2, and have that backup for plan of action 3, because you're going to have more members and you're going to reach several goals, and you're going to have some stretch goals. The same way with retention, and the same way with leadership development. Unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. And so we've taken our vision, we now have our plans, but we've got to commit to implementing those plans. And so who needs to be on our team? Everyone needs to be on our team. Any lion that had a lion pin in your district needs to be on your team. But also, it goes beyond that. It goes to the Lions Clubs International staff. We've got a great global action team staff that's available to you. You've got some area leaders that are available to you to help you to be successful. You got past presidents and past directors and past council chairs and past district governors, and some of them are outstanding and they're available to you. And some of them may be just a tad bit negative, and you know who they are in your district. You know who they are in your multiple district. Avoid them like the plague. Only surround yourself with positive people who are going to help you to reach your goals. You got your existing committees, you got your district governors in your other districts, you got your zone chairs, you got your guiding lions, you got your club leaders, you got your line members. Everyone needs to know what the goals are, what the plan of action is, and how together we are going to come together and we're going to find greater success, because we're on this journey together. You as a district governor-elect, we're not sending you out all alone, but rather we are building a team, and we have surrounded you by people who care about you. They want to add value to your life, and want you to find greater success. Because when you find greater success, then in fact, those in need in your district are finding greater hope. And that's what we're about. We serve, we bring hope to the hopeless. We put smiles on the faces of those who find it difficult sometimes to smile. Also in this PowerPoint, as you're sharing it, you got some resources, how getting started and the types of clubs. All of these resources need to be shared with those that are building the plan so that they can rely upon things that are already developed out there. There's no need that any of us reinvent the wheel. Let's take and leverage the tools that we have from Lions Clubs International to find greater success. There's also resources for our new members and finding potential members. There's resources there to remotivate the members with new fellowship and exciting service. There's resources there for developing district and club leaders. And so each of your teams who are building their individual plans need to have access to this information so that they can look through it and work it into their plan so that together we're better. We're taking and using the tools that's available. We're putting gas in our vehicle with the Lions Clubs International resources. And then we got some marketing resources that are available as well. And all of our committees, all of our focus area groups, all four of them can look here and figure out how does publicity help in our area? How does photos of people in action help? What documents do we need? How can we advertise? Because public relations will help us to build clubs. Public relations will help us to bring in new members. Public relations will help us to keep the members we have. Public relations will recognize and honor those district leaders, those members who are stepping up and taking on a leadership role. And then, of course, we've got funding sources, membership development grants, public relation grants, global action team success story funding. We've got leadership development grants. We've got LCI matching grants. We even have a grant that will help you in your district to put on a workshop to identify specialty club potential. What specialty clubs could we put in our district? Who will be responsible for putting them in? And we're going to fund you for that thought process. And then if you identify a specialty club coordinator who starts 2 clubs, they can be reimbursed for actual expenses up to $1,000. And if they start 3, I believe it's up to $2,000 of actual expenses. And so those programs are here. You can click on them in the PowerPoint that you can download at lionsclubs.org/global, and it'll take you right to the resources. It's so important that we also utilize the funds that Lions Clubs International has available to us, because leaving money on the table is not getting the job done. Seize as much money as you can, use in your district, find greater success, build a plan around the funding that is available, because together we're better and together we can. And there's no need for us to leave any resource laying on the table untouched. And so we're going to meet with our working groups to complete our action plan. We're going to review the sample action plan booklet. We're going to share your plan with everyone in the district. We're going to get some feedback. We're going to take and begin to talk about how we find more success. And when we do that, then in fact, we will have been the best district governor our district has ever seen. And I firmly believe that the folks on this call tonight can find greater success and can find it by following the global membership approach, finding your team of supporters, the ride and die folks, finding and building that team of visionaries who are coming together to build a vision, dividing them into 4 groups and beginning to build 4 mini plans and meshing them together. And then the next time we get together, we're going to talk about implementing that plan, finding greater success. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm available for any questions that you might have. And I hope that the information shared tonight was something that was of value to you. Can we get a copy of your slides? My slides are at lionsclubs.org/global. under the Build a Vision right there and ready for you to download. The only thing I did was I moved a couple of slides around, but they're all there. And I want you to personalize this presentation to fit your district and your personality. Thank you very much, Winster, for putting that in there. Questions, comments, concerns?
Thank you very much, PID Jerome. I thought I'd just jump in here and make a statement before we have some questions, if I may.
Yes, sir.
We have a group of folks here. I'm one, and there's a couple of others who are your GAT area leaders and who, if you have any questions at all, are more than happy to chat with you on the phone, put together a Zoom call, help you put this together. You might even ask me to be on your team. I might, if I can find the time, I'd love to do that. We're here to help you. Don't ever forget that we're here. So with that, we'd like to open it up for questions, please. Well, I have a couple that came up in the chat. And PID Jerome, could you explain for a second the District Enhanced Leadership Institute? That may be new to some of us.
Well, it was made up and created in a district where that I assisted with Build a Vision. And it was just a crazy idea that was just wild and out there. But as the district began to build their plan, and that was on the board as one of the ideas, then what the district did is they looked online at lionsclubs.org at some of the courses and material that was available and decided which courses and that were available was most needed in their district. They charged a $50 tuition, and that rather than sending someone halfway around the world to attend Advanced Lions Leadership Institute, they did it locally. And one Saturday for 3 months, the folks come together. They had about 6 hours worth of classes, meals, and then they had a nice graduation ceremony, similar to what you do with Ellie or Allie, but rather than traveling to do it, they did it within their district. Did that answer your question, Richard?
Yes, thank you. Yes, and it sounds like a good program. That was the next question about yes and. In fact, we heard this, comedians use this also. Not that we're trying to be comedians, but it works when you're in front of a crowd. Another question that came up was, could you give us a brief example of some breaking down the action plan process into how you break it down into maybe big parts and then little parts?
Absolutely. Let's take, for instance, new member growth, okay? And if your team says, we're going to use the membership growth event toolbox, then we have to ask ourselves, do the people in our district even know that it's available at lionsclubs.org? If not, then we're going to have to introduce it. And to whom do we introduce it? How do we introduce it? And so the first thing we need to do is introduce it to our zone chairs and then train the trainers and empower them to be the trainers to teach it at their zone chair meetings. So in July, we will teach our zone chairs on how to use the membership growth event toolbox. In August, our zone chairs will teach our clubs how to use it and encourage their clubs to have a October membership growth event. And then when you look at that toolbox, there's a 6-week planning guide. And so we need our zone chairs to identify the dates that our clubs are going to have their membership growth event, and then back up 6 weeks and teach and monitor and coach and mentor about all of the tasks that should be accomplished T-minus 6 weeks, T-minus 5 weeks, T-minus 4, 3, 2, 1. And then our zone chairs should be there. Now, we've got all these new members in. What else do we need to do to retain them? Well, the next 2 weeks, we need to orientate our new members. We need to let them know why, all about our association and what it means to be a Lion. But then we can't just let them go. Our next step after that has to be to somehow engage them, to have figured out what their passion is, what their purpose for joining our club is, and getting them to serving on a committee or getting them to serving with a service project. And so our next step is then engaging our members. And then a month later after that, following up with our members to make sure that we're meeting their expectations. And we build a 12-month process of taking our membership growth event toolbox, implementing it, and then moving to membership engagement and membership satisfaction through greater service, and working it all together, one step at a time, and logically doing it. Richard, does that make any sense?
It does. And I think it explains that when you come up with a goal, that leads to minor goals, which lead to even lesser goals and action steps, so that you might end up with 4 or 5 pages for your membership goals and so forth. And your action plans then roll out from that. It's a detailed process.
It is. And as we talk about building success, when we get back together the next time, part of that is also going to be each of you building a communication plan. So you know on what date of each month that you're going to communicate with what group. And if you have these detailed plans, and I'm just going to use membership, service, and leadership, and you meet with your zone chairs monthly, then you can let them know where we are, what we've accomplished in the last 30 days, but what we need to accomplish in the next 30 days. And how do you know what we need to accomplish? Because you've taken all these plans and meshed them into a master plan and put them on a calendar. So we're all working together and not overworking and frustrating our clubs. I put everybody to sleep. No one has a question except Richard.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I am actually the president of the Clovis Evening Lions Club and zone chair for District 40 North. I have two clubs in my zone, and I have been visiting with them and everything else. They're both older clubs. They both want members, but they're up in their 80s and 85s, and they're old. I shouldn't say that because some of us are about there. So, but anyway, how do you get them to get new members in when they're already their club in their city is saying, that's a club of old people? Why would young ones come in, or what can they do to make young ones come in there?
Mr. Governor-elect Edwards, and I know your first name's not Christie.
That's Joel.
It's what?
Joel.
Joel.
Yes.
You have to define young, because I had a club just like that when I was district governor, and they kept asking me, how do we get younger members? And my question then was, you're in a college town. If you go over here to the campus and all you fellas that are in your 80s begin to ask out a 22-year-old, are they going to go on a date with you? And one of the guys says, no, they call us a dirty old man. I said, that's what they're doing when you ask them to join your club too. And so younger when you're 80 is really just 70 and 75. And so don't shoot for the moon. Just take a baby step. Subtract 10 from your age and invite them to join. And in 6 months, have another membership growth event, and everybody invites someone that's 10 years younger than them to join. So your 80s have invited 70s, and they'll continue to invite 70s, but the new 70s that come in are beginning to invite 60s. And 6 months later, the 60s are inviting 50. And over the process of 3 or 4 years, you're going to reduce that average age from 80 something into the 50s simply by redefining what we mean when we say attracting younger members. Because at 62, if I bring in someone 52, then they're younger than me and they are a younger member. Does that help?
Yes, sir. That helps out a bunch. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel.
More questions, please.
Lion Jerome, just to
Yes.
let you know, they are going to nominate me for second vice, I think this coming year. And
Awesome.
everything.
Awesome. And we're here to help you as you move through the ranks, and whatever it takes, we want to make sure that you're the best district governor that has ever been in about 3 years when you're the district governor. And until then, we're going to help others to be the best they can be.
All right. And to let you know, we inducted 7 new members this year too. No.
Now tell me where District 40 is.
Do you know where Albuquerque's at in New Mexico?
I do.
Okay, the Albuquerque District 40 is the northern half of the one I'm in. They got north and south. I'm in the northern part of New Mexico and everything. So me, Albuquerque, Gallup, Moriarty, coming down through there, Fort Sumner, Clovis. So
One evening, as I was driving out west, we come over a hill and I saw the lights of Albuquerque there in what appeared to be a little bowl. And it's still, let's see, my youngest son is 28. So that was about 30 years ago. And that memory still is in my mind. It was a most beautiful setting there in Albuquerque.
yeah, that is a beautiful sight to come over there when it's dark and when you top that hill. It is nice. It's a little scary if them trucks are out though. So,
And Sedona, is that in Arizona?
Sedona is in Arizona, yes, and they're part of the northern of our part of Arizona and New Mexico. Is in our district, North 40.
Okay.
And
I've got a
Ryan,
question.
I'm your GAT area leader. I'll be looking forward to work with you. I'm here to serve you.
Joe Osborne has a question over here.
Yes, I'm the second vice district governor, and I've been going out and visiting some clubs. I can really see where this could be a great benefit, but I'm not sure how to structure a message for some of the clubs as I go around and do my visiting.
Joe,
Any
what
help
state are
or
you in?
ideas in that area? Well, I'll be visiting a club and I want to talk about the global membership approach. And there's just so much material. I'm not quite sure how to structure it so that I can make it interesting and beneficial to the club with what I bring up.
Joe, tell me which district you are in.
Oh, I'm in District 21 South. I'm in Tucson, Arizona.
Awesome. Right there in Arizona, you have one of the 4 people that are working within the United States to develop the message of taking the global membership approach to clubs. And that is Richard Stevenson, working with Chris Gunstream, Jody Brewmaster in Wisconsin, and Michelle Mosley in Alabama. And so he already has the PowerPoint and the presentation that he can send you just for the asking, and that'll cut your prep time tremendously. Lion Richard, would you share that with Lion Joe so that he can begin to take the global membership approach to clubs?
I would be more than happy to, and I will say that we do have a new Facebook group called the GMA 4 Clubs. That's GMA, the number 4 clubs. That's just for this purpose, where we have the slide presentation, we have a cheat sheet, we have the whole 9 yards there. So for anyone who'd like to join in that, you can join it, ask to join, we'll let you in, and all that will be available. And Joe, I'll contact you personally and we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good.
It's amazing what these area leaders that's on the call tonight have accomplished and continue to accomplish. And y'all are very fortunate because these 3, 4 area leaders, Polly, is she still with us? Yes, there's Polly. These 4 area leaders that we have on the call tonight are absolutely fantastic and a wealth of knowledge. And so thank you very much for doing that. Who else has a question as we wind down? I get excited. I'll talk all night.
Just in some information, I put a link in the chat room all the resources that we discussed, at least the videos, are located in that page. So if you have not been able to attend the previous 2 sessions, please go there and you will find all the resources there, all the videos for those 2 sessions that we had before. So it is for, you will see says area 1F, but area 1F, H, and J work together. So don't worry about that. The resources for everybody.
Richard, if I may add a comment, this is Polly Voon from Vancouver, British Columbia speaking. I know that there's a lot of information, a lot of resources available on the website, Lions Clubs International website. Be familiar with the information, but don't feel overwhelmed with the information. You know your district and you know your Lions better than anybody else. So pick and choose and customize the message that you want to bring to your audience. What may be of interest to one group or applies to one group may not necessarily be the most important thing to another group that you might be addressing. And that will take that will allow you to not be overwhelmed by the information, but it's good to know that the resources are there. So you don't have to do too much digging and too much researching in order to get the information that you need. And as Jerome says, the area leaders that we have in CA1 is certainly more than very happy to assist you in any way. Just ask, and we'll be happy to be there for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Polly. Any other questions or comments? Winston, thank you. I think I put everybody to sleep.
Well, PID Jerome, on behalf of the leaders that are on the call, Winston, area leader Winston, Richard, and myself from areas 1F, 1H, and 1J, we appreciate your time this evening, spreading the wealth of knowledge on the build a plan process for the GMA process, and we look forward to the build success session in March.
And now it's time for the photograph.
Before the photograph, save the date, Monday, March 27th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And I know that Richard's going to have the wrong time anyway, so.
And who will have the wrong link?
That'll be me. So anyone from my area, I apologize. I had way too many links going, so I apologize if one was sent out, the one that was sent out wrong. So my apologies.
It was your turn, but I'll have my turn. Don't worry.
Yes, we all take our turns. So my apologies.
Okay, Richard, go ahead.
Everyone look at your camera with a big smile. Now we're going to do it again. Here we go. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being Lions leaders. And thank you, PID Jerome.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Night.